Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The Royals dominated the National League last year. They went 15-5. And in their first game against the National League this year, they shut out the Cincinnati Reds last night 3-0. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery are coming up. Things are great in Kansas City. The Royals are 11 games above 500. They lead the division by 2.5 games. But there's always room for improvement. The Royals starting rotation got off to a slow start, but they've really started to pick things up.
They have, and it's been really good to see because that starting rotation has to get to the pin to win. And they've got to be able to bridge that gap, at least go 6 innings with that strong bullpen. But fun to see these guys starting to pick it up and starting to compete against one another.
A nice little run began on Sunday with Edison Volquez against the Yankees.
Sure did. You know, Volquez has been a very consistent starter so far this year. He's had a few ups and downs with the blisters, but this sets the tone. 7 strong innings. Now, where the competition comes in, what are you going to do, young Yordano Ventura? Can you match 7 innings at least? Sure, I can do that. Now it's Guthrie's turn. Now Guthrie's saying, wow, the 2 previous starters, man, they went deep into the game and they dealt. Now it's my turn. That puts pressure on him to be able to perform. And can he do it? Absolutely. This team responds to Guthrie. They win.
We were stunned last night when we saw these numbers. Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Last night was the first time since the end of September in 1992 that the Royals had back-to-back shutouts. 3,537 games ago. That's a major league record.
That is crazy. However, it sure was fun to watch those last 2.
Big game last night for Mike Moustakas. You know, the Royals, as we reach the quarter pole of the 2015 season, lead the league in slugging percentage. And Mike Moustakas continues to roll. He had 2 RBI doubles last night. Joel and Monty are next.
Save of the season last night. Greg Holland had a stiff neck, so he's sad he is available tonight. How about this? There are only 3 pitchers now in the majors with 5 or more save opportunities who have allowed 1 run or less. Wade Davis, no runs. Greg Holland, 1 run. John Axford, 1 run. Andrew Miller of the Yankees last night gave up a walk-off 2-run home run to the Washington Nationals. Joel Goldberg alongside of a guy that knows quite a bit about closing games, Jeff Montgomery, and not on that list of 1 run or less is Aroldis Chapman, but he's not far behind. 2 earned runs, one of the better closers in the game.
Well, he really is. He's a guy that's got dominant type stuff. You don't want to get a situation, because if you see him tonight, things have not gone so well and probably not going to get any better.
Our Toyota League leaders take a look at Chapman's numbers. And Monty, you see those numbers. They have the worst bullpen ERA, the Reds, in the majors. So it's the 9th inning you have to be careful about with those strikeout numbers, which are absolutely ridiculous, and the opponent's batting average. So why is he so good?
Well, everybody knows about the tall lefties overpowering 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but he's got a changeup that some people say is the most difficult pitch in the National League for anybody to hit. So you don't only have to guard against a fastball, but he's got that great changeup to go with it.
And 29 strikeouts in 17 and a third innings. Hopefully we don't see him. And Jeremy Guthrie goes deep into the game, has the lead, and hands it off to the Royals bullpen. First pitch from Kauffman Stadium is coming up next.
Visit your Chevy dealer today for great prices on all the new 2015 vehicles. And by the Missouri Lottery, every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. So we'll see how the Cincinnati Reds bounce back after being shut out last night. The Reds have lost 7 of their last 10 games, and they've only scored 31 runs in their last 10 games. So as the Royals move to a season high 11 games above 500, the Reds drop to a season low 3 games under 500. And they'll face Jeremy Guthrie as Kia puts us in the driver's seat, and he is very much in the driver's seat against the National League, and especially last year in his 3 starts.
Yeah, he really does thrive, and of course he likes to swing the bat, but you know, he's not maybe as good a hitter as he certainly is a pitcher. But the Royals, they are 20 games over 500 in Guthrie's 86 starts since being acquired in 2012. They find a way to win behind him. It's important that he establishes his fastball. Did 92 to 93 with that fastball, 2-seam, 4-seam, curveball, changeup, and a few cutters. He can just establish number 1 against these guys and work his secondary pitches in. He should be all right. pitch to that fabulous defense behind him. You just never know who's going to make the star play of the game, because they all are capable.
Fastball over the outside to Zach Cozart to begin the game. Cozart was 0 for 4 last night. A rare hitless game for him on the road. He is one of the best in the National League on the road. Lorenzo Cain comes up. 2 pitches and 1 down for Jeremy Guthrie as we look at the Royals defensively. Presented by Ford.
Paulo Orlando, he sure is getting a good look, and why not? He's got great legs. He can get into the ball out there in the outfield, chases him down with the best of them, and he's really starting to swing a good bat, making some good contact. He's got some bunt hits. He's got great legs, good arm too. He's been a very nice addition this year to complement the already speedy outfield.
Brandon Phillips goes after the first pitch and fouls it away. Phillips batted 6th last night and was 0 for 3. The Reds only had 4 hits against Yordano Ventura in his 7 innings, and then Kelvin Herrera and Wade Davis both had scoreless, hitless innings.
Hitting just over 300, but you got to believe Brian Price is looking for some igniting at the top, getting this order going. 4 for 6 in his career against Guthrie with 1 homer. Maybe that's why he got promoted. Looking for somebody at the top of the order to get on for Votto, Frazier, and Bird.
And he squirts one off the end of the bat. And Brandon Phillips is on with 1 out.
Change up, and he hit it like a change up right off the end of the bat. He cued it. Sometimes you hit it like they throw it.
Fastball strike to Joey Votto. He was 0 for 4 last night, lost a hit on a good running play by Lorenzo Cain in center field.
It's a good pitch on Votto. Teams have been getting him out by jamming him, challenging him inside. Anything middle away, he's been serving to left field. He's been going to the gaps and down the line.
Fastball at 93 by Votto. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You know, Joey Votto is signed through 2023.
Gotta love those contracts.
Oh man. And the Reds, with a commitment like that, they need a healthy Joey Votto. Back in 2010, he was the National League's most valuable player. 37 home runs, 113 RBIs. In his last 3 years, he's had a decline. He was injured for most of the 2014 season. He only played 62 games.
Yeah, you know, it's going to catch up to you, but he's in great shape this year. He's hopeful that he can get back to his form. And when he was in his form, he was turning and burning on inside fastballs, but now they're beating him in there. See if Guthrie tries to go back inside. Guthrie, very good move to first base. He's quick. He'll vary his hold times. And he's got one a little quicker and a little bit sharper to try to get guys out. That was just a courtesy throw over there. See the hot zone here where he's mainly he's going away. He's staying away from that inside part of the plate. Has not been hot for him. Let me show you again. See these areas, this right here, not a whole lot going on, but anything middle away, he's going to torch.
Phillips thought about going, but he holds, and now 3-2 on Votto. Cincinnati has a running team. They lead the National League in stolen bases. All they could do last night was attempt one steal, and Todd Frazier was thrown out.
Phillips is 5 for 5.
He's running, and Votto takes ball 4.
It's important.
Speaking of Todd Frazier, here he comes. Sorry, Hud.
All right. Yeah, now it's important that Guthrie establishes that fastball. We're seeing early in this game, he's got plenty of fuzz on that fastball. 92, 93 miles an hour. That's good enough to get hitters out with that movement. First time through the order, though, this year, teams have been hitting 375 off Guthrie. And I think that's because he's been going to his secondary pitches a little bit too soon.
And that's outside, ball 1 to Frazier. Dangerous hitter, 12 home runs, second in the National League. He had 29 last year. Guthrie has short sleeves on tonight. It is a long sleeve night, 52 degrees. The wind is almost non-existent, and that helps. Last night that wind was blowing in out of the northeast, and Kauffman Stadium really cooled down the last few innings. Hardly any rain in the forecast tonight. And hopefully this will be the last cold game of the year, at least until we get into the latter parts of September. And that's taken low. 3 balls and no strikes. Back-to-back walks, and the Cincinnati Reds have the bases loaded with 1 out. So here are the numbers that Bud was talking about. First time through the order. That's the toughest time for Guthrie. He gets dramatically better second time through the order, and then there's a bit of a spike third time through.
Well, if you're Cincinnati, you really want to capitalize on this. 1 out, opportunity to get on the board first. They know it's a 6-7 inning game, playing the Royals with their great bullpen. Marlon Byrd 4 for 10 in his career off Guthrie.
Guthrie got that low strike. 0-1 on Byrd. He was hitless last night, and also a victim of Lorenzo Cain's defense.
Byrd has grounded into a couple of double plays this year, and Guthrie's induced a couple. He can roll them out to the infielders with that 2-seam fastball and changeups to stay down.
1-1. This is one of the Reds' hotter hitters at the plate in the month of May in the National League. Marlon Byrd has 6 home runs, second in the league. He's driven in 15, and he has a .685 slugging percentage. So that's the man that Brian Price wants at the plate with the bases loaded, 1 out in the first inning, one night after the Reds were shut out. One and 2. Last night the Reds only had 1 inning where they had more than 1 base runner. They had 2 on with nobody out in the third. Guthrie strikes out Bird with the bases loaded. 2 down.
That's what I'm talking about. There it is. That good, hard, firm fastball. He had Bird thinking that he could throw him one of his secondary pitches and off speed, but there's a four-seamer right down the middle. He challenged him. Sometimes pitchers get a little leery of throwing fastballs to certain hitters in certain counts, especially with the base full, but you know, it works. Take your chance.
And now Jay Bruce, and he's late on that fastball at 93. He had one of the 4 Cincinnati hits last night and also had a strikeout. He has struck out 41 times already this year. Guthrie's not messing around with him. Fastball, fastball, both at 93, 0-2.
Glad to see Salvi picking up on that. Some of the starts early this season, he's been out there throwing his secondary pitches early. He's got to establish number 1.
Trying to get him to chase a changeup down and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bases loaded, 2 down. The Royals have the right side stacked against Bruce with Infante out in shallow right field. High fastball and playable for Lorenzo Cain. So Guthrie gets in and out of trouble in the top of the 1st inning, and Cincinnati leaves the bases loaded. The so-called quarter pole. Here's their lineup presented by State Farm. And at the quarter pole, the Royals lead the league in team batting average. They lead the league in doubles, and they lead the league in slugging percentage. 2nd in the league in on-base percentage.
Team's 11 games over 500. They're doing something right, but it is nice to see them in a lot of the top categories offensively, especially in runs scored. That's been something that's been a needed commodity here for the Royals over the last few years.
Facing 36-year-old Jason Marquis, and he has some scary numbers if you're a Reds fan. Very enticing numbers if you're a Royals fan, with a 6.63 earned run average.
He's a veteran, no doubt about it. Long time in the game. Not overpowering.
Bruce makes a play in right field, 1 down. And a look at the Reds defensively, and we mentioned it last night that Cincinnati may not be in the Royals league defensively, but one of the best in the major leagues. If you go by defensive runs saved, the Reds are 6th in the league at plus 13.
Tucker Barnhart is highlighted because he is an exceptional defensive catcher. Won the Gold Glove in 2012 for all of minor league catchers. He's not real big, but he gets back there in a little small ball. Good target. Umpires get to see over him and around him. Good arm, quick release.
Well, you're right. He really does get into a little ball as a target behind home plate.
Pitchers like it. Umpires do too. Look at how small he looks compared to Big Joe West.
It looked like you could just push him and you just roll off the field.
Yeah, but this kid is excellent with his glove work and calling a game, and that's going to have a nice future, possibly as a backup catcher.
Fouled away by Mike Moustakas. He was a game changer last night. He drove in 2 of the 3 Royals runs with RBI doubles. A T-Mobile game changer. Hits it the other way to Frazier at third. So 2 down. So our T-Mobile game changer, Mike Moustakas, through games of May 19th. Last year 153. He was a couple of days away from being sent down to AAA. This year 331.
Gotta love it. He has been a game changer. Look at the runs scored. What a difference. He's a different player hitting in that number 2 hole for Ned. He's in the game. He's coming to the plate every first inning of every game on the road or at home. You love that.
And for a strike to Lorenzo Cain.
Jason Marquis got a fastball 88 to about 90. It's not going to be overpowering. 2 and 4 seamers, slider and a split finger. Really his idea is to use his infielders and keep the ball on the ground. He's a ground ball pitcher, and when he's not, he can be elevated up over the wall.
Brandon Phillips was getting ready to jump, but he didn't have to. So the Royals 3 up 3 down against Marquis, and no score at Kauffman Stadium. League play and the I-70 series as that team from that little village on the east side of the state will come over for a 3-game series beginning on Friday night. Friday night, Fox Sports Kansas City. Saturday on Fox. And Sunday back on Fox Sports Kansas City. Because of the new schedule setup, the Royals will play a home-and-home with the Cardinals as they normally do, but this time it'll be 6 games instead of 4. And they will have home-and-homes with the Reds and the Brewers. We're going to see a whole lot of the National League Central this year.
Hey, that's okay. The Royals keep playing baseball against the National League like they did last year. That's a welcomed sight for the National League teams. 15-5. Didn't matter if we were in their park or at ours. They just played baseball. Pitchers contributed in National League parks.
Mesoraco gets jammed, and it should be easy for Hosmer. He runs to the line. It is a fair ball catch. 1 down.
Guthrie, he gained a lot of confidence after getting out of that last jam last inning. And I believe him and Salvi found the fastball that they've been looking for. It's 2 consecutive hitters now that have made outs on that high 4-seam fastball.
Billy Hamilton takes inside. He dropped down a sac bunt last night, and he struck out twice. Royals did a good job of keeping him off the bases. He's a big distraction. Leading the National League in stolen bases. You know, just a few years ago, he had 155 stolen bases in the minor leagues. And there's 2 sides to that. You go, well, it's the minor leagues. You're right. I mean, he's not running against Salvador Perez in the minor leagues, but they play 5 months. He did that in 5 months.
Yeah, it's impressive no matter what. He's got great speed, and he has excellent base stealing ability. Now, you can have great speed, but you may not have the base stealing instincts, and it'll show. But this guy has them both, and they were just waiting to see if he could be mature enough to hit up here.
Alex makes the play, and left field, 2 down. Lorenzo Cain is our most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda. He made 2 more good defensive plays last night, which added another run to his defensive run saved. He is the best in the major leagues in that category at +14.
Come on, Royals fans, get behind Lorenzo Cain. He is definitely all-star worthy. Let's vote him in. Vote Royals, Royals.com. 35 votes today. He deserves it.
This is Tucker Barnhart. He's swinging the bat well at the moment with a 7-game hitting streak. That's a career high for him. It's not that rare, but especially in the National League. But the Reds, because of Mesoraco's hip problem, the Reds are forced to carry 3 catchers. Two balls, 2 strikes.
And I'm not so sure that Ned Yost and the Royals will carry 3. They're going to have a decision to make here once Eric Kratz gets well.
And Kratz is on his way to Omaha for a rehab assignment. Still 2-2.
I think Ned would rather use that extra guy for the bullpen.
Guthrie in the first inning with 1 out, allowed a single and then back-to-back walks, but he got out of it. He struck out Marlon Byrd. That was a huge out. And then retired Jay Bruce. 3-2 on Barnhart. Guthrie is 1-1 in his career against the Cincinnati Reds in just 2 starts, and that the last start for him was 3 years ago. And now, after getting in trouble in the first inning, Jeremy Guthrie has knocked down the last 5 Reds hitters.
Using that fastball, it's plenty good. Got a little zip on it tonight.
Inning facing Jason Marquis, who got Escobar, Moustakas, and Kane in the bottom of the first inning. Hosmer did a good job of doing that last night, as he has for most of the year, hitting the ball hard to the opposite field. He singled to left and scored a run last night. He also grounded very sharply to third, which turned into a double play. And then when the Reds started to pitch him inside, he lined out to right.
It's that good 2-seam fastball. Hitters and offensive have been hitting 500 off of Marquis' first pitches. So he's been trying to get in early, and hitters have really been racking it.
That was a good job by Hosmer. That pitch was down. And Hosmer is going to be held by Mike Jerschele. On with a leadoff double.
Hosmer stayed with it. Marquis does not have overpowering stuff, so you can pretty much zone him. And there's that split finger changeup that he has going. And typically, Marquis likes to throw that middle off the plate, because that stayed in. Hosmer was able to catch it.
Talking about all-stars, and a good case for not only being an all-star, but maybe the starter at first base. Eric Hosmer leading American League first baseman in those 3 categories we just showed you, and he's in the top 5 in just about every offensive category among first basemen. So go ahead, vote Hosmer at Royals.com/vote. And Kendrys Morales at the bare minimum gets the runner over to third as Votto takes it to the bag himself. One down.
Nice job of moving the runner. And you mentioned Hosmer's numbers. That's right. That's with Miguel Cabrera in the American League playing first base as well. So Hosmer's giving him a little run this year.
Yeah, so he may not be the starter, but I think he'll, based on what happened in the postseason last year, you know, all we heard was how the country fell in love with the Royals, and there will be a lot of fans, I think, across the country will be voting for their team's players and then mixing in a lot of Royals. We'll see.
Boy, they totally believe that Alex is going to pull that ball. You could absolutely drive a bus literally through that left side of the infield. A lot of room over there. He sees it, but he's trying to elevate. Wants to get something up.
You could get a battleship through the left side of the infield.
Or the Goodyear blimp, for that matter.
Battleship with a filled with buses.
I'm telling you, especially.
And he pulls it. Bruce gets behind it. Hosmer to the plate, and he is in with the game's first run. And the Royals are 17-4 this year when they score first.
Kendrys Morales, after the leadoff double, pull the ball to the right side to move to third base to set up the sac fly. That's how it works. Playing team baseball right here. That ball had some top spin on it, and it wasn't very deep, but you got to love the speed that Hosmer knows he can score on a ball that shallow and right.
Outside to Salvador Perez. He had a double last night, going 1 for 3. And that ball's hit well to right center field. Jay Bruce almost had it sail over his head. The Royals wearing out the right side, either with ground balls or fly balls. Hosmer leads off with a double to right. Morales grounds one to the right. Gordon with a sac fly to right. 1-0 KC.
Stadium, and Our University of Kansas hospital injury report sees Jacoby Ellsbury today going on the 15-day disabled list with a right knee sprain. That .412 on base percentage is third in the American League, and we point this out, guys, because the Royals go to New York for a series beginning Memorial Day Monday. That ball will be caught by Alcides Escobar in foul territory. I just knew it because I have that much faith, Ryan, in Alcides Escobar and everyone on this defense. And in Jacoby Ellsbury's case, .351 career batting average against the Royals, .404 on base percentage, but he's found a lot of stints on the disabled list. This is his 5th in his career. I'm sure HUD will be sending a sympathy card.
Hey, no sympathy cards being sent from HUD, but I'll tell you what, it sure is fun, Joel, when you see that ball go in the air, that there's a great chance it's going to get caught.
I've got an idea. I think you should send a sympathy card this year for the first time to somebody else in the league, a team or a player. So then when you say you're not sending any sympathy cards, and that's more of a statement.
Okay, how about if it's another broadcaster? Because, you know, they suffer with the team, too. No broadcaster?
No, it's got to be a team that's struggling or a team that suffers an injury.
Then how
you should send them a sympathy card.
Okay, now I think that how they'll take that, they could be offended. If I walked in and hand-delivered a sympathy card to a manager who's having a tough year, he may not like that. Now, I probably could get away with it with Terry Francona if their team's struggling, and they have been, but I probably could get away with him. But somebody else, I don't know.
Brandon Phillips drives it to center field. Kane was shallow, but he had the right angle. 2 down for Guthrie in the 3rd inning. Does Kansas City have the proudest fans? Well, prove it. Help the Royals win the Jersey Day Fan Battle, brought to you by the Majestic Cool Base Jersey. Get in the game and you could score VIP tickets among other prizes. Join now at majesticjerseyday.com. Joey Votto gets it past Omar Infante, and he's on for a 2nd time.
You know, don't have to tell the Royals fans to wear their royal blue, especially this weekend when the Cardinals come to town and their fans try to wear their red. Let's outdo them, folks. There's a nice royal blue section.
Tell you what, we might have a bigger crowd tonight than we did last night. Last night, a Tuesday night, a cool night. School is still in session, although soon to be out of session. The Cincinnati Reds are in town. No offense to Cincinnati, but it's not the same draw as the Cardinals being in town. And yet 29,700 last night. And it looks like we got about the same tonight, maybe even a little bigger.
Gotta love it.
Frazier hits it to Death Valley. Lorenzo Cain makes the play. Jeremy Guthrie has 3 scoreless innings. The pitching staff has 21 consecutive scoreless innings. And that's 7 fly ball outs for Guthrie. Back in 1960, Geneva Price was 30 years old and a young mother to 2 children when she heard the words, "You have breast cancer." The treatment and survival rate for breast cancer was radically different 55 years ago, but that didn't stop her. As a regular attendee at Susan G. Komen's Pink Promise Brunch and Race for the Cure, Geneva knows that being a part of a community is critical to fighting this disease, and she is now considered one of the matriarchs of the Komen Kansas City breast cancer community. And her motto is, "Life is messy, but you have to live in the moment." And Geneva is sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game as Todd Frazier makes a good defensive play to get Omar Infante for the first out of the bottom of the 3rd.
Great job, Geneva. Way to be an encouragement to many others.
Now Paulo Orlando, 2 more hits last night and a run scored. He's had a very good homestand. He has hit .400 on the homestand against the Yankees and the Reds. He has hit in 5 straight, and over that stretch hitting .368.
Taking better swings, using the whole field. A little surprised that the Royals haven't really been swinging at Marquis' first pitches. I mentioned earlier that the league up till tonight's been hitting .500 off first pitches. They've been taking most of them. And this is the last hitter first time through the order.
Marquis, bare hand, sidearm to get Paulo Orlando. Nice play by the 36-year-old right-hander. 2 down. Let's go to Joel.
And he says, Jason, that this is his 20th season, guys, in pro ball, which means he's got connections on every team, about 3 to 4 players on every team, although he says that's starting to slowly fade. He was drafted in 1996. The first pick in that draft was Chris Benson. You remember him? And then the last pick of the first round by the Braves was Jason Marquis. He was scouted in high school in Staten Island, New York by Dayton Moore, who then worked for the Braves. His third base coach and the guy that threw him batting practice, he was a very good hitting pitcher with the Braves, was Ned Yost, former teammates of guys like Edinson Volquez in San Diego. Bruce Chen was an early teammate of his, along with Drew Butera. So one of the few guys left from that draft. The only other first rounder from that draft that's left is R.A. Dickey.
Sliced up the right field line. Jay Bruce makes a good running play. And by the way, Joel, you introduced me to Jason Marquis yesterday. What a nice guy. Easy guy to pull for. Royals lead Marquis 1-0 at the end of 3.
in Detroit. Shane Green cruising on the hill, and the Tigers manufacturing the offense. Yoenis Cespedes with the stolen baseball thrown away. He scores. The Tigers right now in the 6th inning, leading 2-1. And our expert statistician, David Holtzman, Holtzy, just saying that Jason Marquis has played with 517 different players.
And how in the world did he come up with that? Did he just count that real fast, or?
Pretty impressive numbers.
Are you sure it's not 518?
Huh. He's getting to know a lot of teammates.
We'll trust him as we welcome in Jeff Montgomery. Here's Marlon Byrd. I think he's the biggest out of the game so far for Jeremy Guthrie. Marlon Byrd is one of the hottest hitters in the National League in the month of May, and he came up with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 1st inning, and Guthrie struck him out and then got Jay Bruce on a fly ball to center field, and the Reds were scoreless. Now Royals pitching has strung together 21 consecutive scoreless innings.
Yeah, take a look at this pitch in the 1st inning. Huge pitch of the game. Nice to see him go with that fastball. Good location on the fastball. Sometimes you can trick a hitter. You don't have to be perfect with it. But when you got a little bit of movement late life, it does the job.
Infante to the hole. Turns all the way around and throws out Marlon Byrd. So a good time to have Monty on, because as you all know, Royals Hall of Famer, but originally a Cincinnati Red. And I'll bet there's a lot of Royals fans out there that just assume that you were drafted, signed, and developed by the Royals, but you weren't.
I was not. I actually was drafted by my hometown team, a team I grew up watching play baseball, listening to Marty Brennaman, Joe Nuxhall announce on Reds radio. So it's really a dream come true to be drafted by those Reds and eventually make it to the big leagues.
And your manager was Pete Rose, right?
That's right. Mine and Joel Goldberg's favorite player growing up, watching Pete Rose play Charlie Hustle baseball.
So that must have been somewhat surreal to be out there on the mound, and here comes Pete Rose to come talk to you. There's Marty Brennaman, by the way. He is the Denny Matthews of the Cincinnati Reds, if you will. He's been there for a long time. Ford Frick winner, just like Denny. Immensely popular in Cincinnati. Mike Moustakas couldn't get there enough. Man, he ran all the way across the infield to get to that ball, but Jay Bruce is safe with 1 out. So what was it like having Pete Rose calling the shots on your team?
Well, the more intimidating part to me, Ryan, was when I was in spring training camp with the Reds as a non-roster guy and just trying to get my name out there and figure out a little bit about baseball in the major league level. Pete Rose was still actually a player manager, and he would get me and some of the younger players to come down to the batting cage and pitch to him. So that was really a thrill to be able to pitch to Pete Rose, but
wow,
somewhat intimidating when he asked you to throw one up and in on him. You're just afraid you might hit him in the helmet or do something, and then what are your chances?
He would ask you to pitch him up and in?
He would want to see you throw up and in.
That's pretty good.
Like for a strike up and in, or to like back him off the plate up and in?
He wanted to see if you had the ability to come up and in.
So all you had to do is just throw it at your boyhood hero, huh?
Monty, I would have drilled him. Did you ever think about just drilling him and saying, there you go, Pete?
Oh, are you kidding me? He was a young player trying to make the team.
That might impress the skipper, though.
I think we know now why HUD played for 17 teams in 10 years.
If I would have drilled the skipper, I probably would have never made it to the big leagues.
Yeah, that's probably not advisable.
Mesoraco is jammed, and it's Moustakas with a long run into foul territory. Mesoraco pops up for the 2nd time, and 2 down in the 4th inning. Monty, HUD's been talking a lot tonight about the way Jeremy Guthrie has been really aggressive with his fastball.
Well, it's very important for most every pitcher, but especially Jeremy Guthrie. Now, he doesn't have the mid-90s fastball that he had earlier in his career, but still it's an important pitch for him to be able to throw that fastball in any count and really use all 4 quadrants. That's one thing I've noticed about Guthrie since he came over. He pitches up and in, he pitches up and away, down and away, down and in. He does that really well. And it's something a lot of pitchers don't have the ability to do, but Guthrie That's been his forte during the course of his career, is really using that fastball to all 4 quadrants of the plate.
And misses outside to Billy Hamilton, who is 0 for 1. And now Bunny. Guthrie takes charge. Didn't get him.
Guthrie's a very good athlete. He took that personally. He took the challenge on, got to it quick enough, but Hamilton, he's just too fleet of foot. He's able to beat that out. Great bunt. Salvi couldn't get it. Guthrie's the only guy who could. I mean, look, he's out of the batter's box on contact. It's going to be really hard to get him. Nice play.
Jeremy did everything possible. He barehanded the ball, did a nice job on making sure he had the ball, didn't throw the ball away, because you've got the other runner you got to be a little concerned about as well.
Hosmer makes a nice pick over at first base. Billy Hamilton has really struggled this year with that base hit. That gets him up to 210, and maybe that's part of the problem. A guy who runs like that only has 2 bunt hits in his team's first 40 games.
Yeah, that's not good for him. He should be able to at least run 280 to 290.
Guthrie, in addition to other things he is doing right tonight, he has thrown a first pitch strike to 15 of the 18 hitters. And now 1-1 on Tucker Barnhart.
And for Guthrie, in order to get in counts where he can use those off pitches, the changeup and the cutter and the slider, you need to get ahead of the batters. And when you're able to throw that first pitch for a strike, it opens up so many other things you can do, and frankly, it makes your other pitches better. So that's great to see from Guthrie.
And now 1-2 on Tucker Barnhart.
Go see his little spinner here. Wasn't great location, but after throwing that fastball for strike, they got to protect against the fastball, so it makes that pitch better.
There you go. That's what you're talking about. Going up and in. That was at 94. Using all 4 quadrants.
Plenty enough fuzz on that fastball to get hitters out at this level with consistency. He can challenge guys. We've seen him get some big outs already in this game with elevated 4-seamers.
Sal thought about throwing down to second base and getting Jay Bruce.
Think back to Guthrie's last start against the Texas Rangers. He hit Prince Fielder twice on fastballs up and in, but he hit him the first time. It did not deter him from going up and in against him again.
Runners go. Guthrie strikes out Barnhart for a second time. 4 scoreless innings for Guthrie, and now 22 consecutive scoreless innings for Royals pitching. Royals baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Chrysler. Come discover great deals at the Chrysler Drive and Discover event. And as we begin the bottom of the 4th inning, 1 strike on Mike Moustakas. Marquis got him on a ground ball to 3rd in the 1st inning. Royals run came in the 2nd inning on Alex Gordon's sac fly, scoring Eric Hosmer. Two and 1. They have cracked his bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Okay, let's talk about the differences between Moose last year and this year. You see over here on the left is 2014. Look where his hands are. They're higher up. They're up around his neck, around his head. Okay, here they're lower. They're in a better launching position this year. Hey, watch the little take back. Hey, he's going to step, and actually the one on the left is not a bad angle with his bat, and was not a bad at bat. We can go back to it. You can see the angles are a little bit different with the bat. Foot, you know, he's picking up his foot a little bit more on the left, and here he's just picking up and setting it down. But look at the head position. You can see it on the left here. His head's pulling off that ball, even though he was able to shoot it to left field, and he gets another base hit here. But it's the hands where they're in a better launching position, and his head. He is keeping his head down on the ball, seeing it. Would make Charlie Lyle very proud. Bowing to the baseball. There's a split finger. Acts as a changeup, but he's able to stay down just like Hosmer. Drop that left side. Drop this foot, this angle right here. He's going to drop it down so he can get down and reach it and stroke it out there. Again, good head position. Sees right down the ball. That's the difference between Moose this year and last year. He was trying to pull everything. Everything. Now this year he's watching the ball in, getting deeper to the catcher's glove, and that's why we're seeing a difference. Sometimes it's just little things, but they can be big things. Hand position's important, but that head is so important. And you know, Monty, you're a good golfer. You understand that. In golf, it's the same thing, isn't it?
Can't have too many moving parts. When your head's moving, it's hard to hit a moving baseball.
Better believe it.
Lorenzo Cain lined out to the 2nd baseman Phillips in the 1st inning. I guess the same applies to pitching too. I mean, right? You can't have your head or your shoulder flying all over the place when you're delivering a pitch.
You want your head still for anything you're doing.
On that topic, and maybe it's a little off topic, we didn't have a chance to visit with you last night during the game, but how difficult, well, let me back up. Ned Yost after the game talked quite a bit about Yordano Ventura being able to repeat his mechanics last night, really stayed within his mechanics. Okay, now the question. How difficult is it to pitch like Johnny Cueto does, where you're changing your pitching motion, you're essentially changing your mechanics?
Well, I've not seen many guys have been able to do that. David Cone comes to mind. A guy was very creative on the mound, but you have to get a lot of other things in order at some stage in your career before you can start to expand and start to do those more creative ideas that you don't hardly ever see. But a lot of guys do it for effectiveness. You like, for example, pitchers oftentimes try to work on the slide step. Some guys just can't slide step. They want to try to be quicker home, but they try to get away from that delivery, and they're not effective with it.
Chuck and duck, Jason Marquis. Royals have 2 on with nobody out. We saw Paul Bird for the Royals pitch like that. El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, pitch like that.
Yep. You know, even Kenny Rogers later in his career, he started doing different arm angles and trying to be creative as well. So, you know, it's an evolution, really. It's not how you start, but it's how these guys finish in their careers. They've learned how to pitch instead of throw it by guys.
Bruce Shen.
Yeah. Bruce, exactly. Good example.
I mean, it's one thing if it's your uncle in a wiffle ball game during a family reunion being crafty and doing that, but to do that at this level, changing arm angles, changing the mechanics, changing the speed of your pitching motion, and be able to somehow stay in control.
And that comes at a stage in your career when you're able to slow the game down to a point where you can maybe command the game and do things differently.
That ball came up on Barnhart, and the Royals were all over it. Mike Moustakas, Lorenzo Cain both got good jumps. No chance for a ground ball double play for Marquis, and there are two in scoring position for Hosmer.
There might be some out there saying, well, Mike Moustakas, he's too slow to hit in the number 2 spot. Well, you can argue that. Watch him. He's going to advance up base here. He's a heady runner. He has average speed, but he's pretty aggressive on the bases, and he's able to advance on balls like that. That's good enough.
Several of those guys among the league leaders. And Hosmer hits the daylights out of it. Phillips, after hesitating, comes to the plate. Looked like he wanted to go to third first. And then as an afterthought came to the plate. Everybody is safe, and the Royals lead 2-0.
Excellent break on contact, Moustakas. Obviously, the contact play was on. So your third base coach tells you, contact, you're gone. Moose hesitated at first, but then once he got going, he was able to speed right by Barnhart in the tag.
Guys, I think the thing that really got that play going was the fact that Moustakas was going to stay at third base. Lorenzo Cain was off of second base. As a result, Moose had to almost make that move.
Good point, Monty. Lorenzo was already chugging to third, and Phillips, he wasn't sure what to do with it. Hesitated.
Now Morales pulls it just foul.
Watch Lorenzo on your screen up here. He's coming right away. Moose hesitated. Now Phillips couldn't exactly get his feet under him in time. Throw was off to the left. Backhand pick to Barnhart, the catcher, and there you go. Second run. Phillips, Gold Glover. He knows that probably hesitated a little bit too long there.
It looked like if he had made a decision and committed to one right away, he would have gotten an out somewhere. If he went right to home or right to third, but a little indecision, and nobody was out.
And really, from where he was playing, I'm not so sure they weren't going to even concede that run. I'm not so sure they weren't just looking for that one out, but when Lorenzo runs off second base, Moustakas had no choice but to go home.
1-2 on Kendrys Morales.
See, he's playing back, so it's almost like they're going to concede the run, but then Lorenzo Cain gets off second, so they're taking a shot at going home now.
You just were wondering what Phillips doing. He traveled. He ran too many steps.
Yeah, if he didn't run those 5 steps, right?
What was he doing? That's all on him.
Still 1-2 on Morales, who is second in the league with 30 RBIs. And just like Lorenzo Cain, almost perfect with a runner at third base and less than 2 outs. And it's Cain who's at third. And Hosmer at first, nobody down. And having a battle here with Marquis.
Yeah, Marquis, in order to get to that split finger, he's got to be able to throw inside that fastball. And at 88, it's not exactly overpowering, but he's going to use that pitch to set up the split finger away to lefties. That's the one pitch he's been using successfully against left-handers. It's working.
He has fouled off 5 in this at-bat. Marquis already has a 6.63 ERA, so in trouble again. And Brian Price has activity in the bullpen. Hosmer was running as Morales fouls away another one.
Seeing some pitches, waiting out the mistake. That's what he's doing. Still down in the count 1-2, but being a very aggressive hitter. Wants to knock that run home. It'll be his 31st on the season.
Hosmer runs again and steals second base. So once again, no chance for a ground ball and a double play for Cincinnati, and 2 in scoring position for Morales.
Oh man, fastball's the money pitch for a hitter, that's for sure.
Out into left center field. It's caught by Bird, who had good momentum coming forward, but not much on the throw. Kendrys Morales with his 31st RBI to lead the Royals, and it's 3-0 KC, 4th inning.
Just a great example of a professional at bat right there. He knew that Marquis didn't have the stuff to blow it by him, so he waits for the split finger and just guides it to left center. You see that? He didn't try to pull it too hard. He just kind of went with the pitch to get the job done. Got a speedy runner like Kane at third, no problem.
Didn't try to do too much, but didn't need to do too much.
Exactly.
Slider down and into Alex, swinging over it.
Bird was going a little bit towards center field, so his momentum was to that side, but not even a perfect throw gets him. Kane outran the ball. What new?
One and one to Alex. He drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the second inning. All runs driven in by the Royals tonight have come without hits. 2 sac flies, 1 fielder's choice. Good situational hitting. And now 2-1. Off speed and pulled foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Very hard to wait, especially against a guy who's not overpowering. Most guys that throw, low to mid 90s, even upper 90s, it's a little bit easier to square them up and stay in the middle of the field. But these guys that are 88 to 78, it's tough to stay in there. It's tough to wait.
Three and 2 with Salvador Perez on deck. And with Salvador Perez on deck, Brian Price may bring in a righty for a righty to face a righty. And if you'd wonder why, Jason Marquis is one of those rare pitchers where he has a hard time against right-hand batters, even though he's a right-hand pitcher. And Alex strikes out, and then they have bought Marquis another hitter. That is his first strikeout, 2 down in the 4th inning. There you have it. Right-handers This is the kind of number you'd expect against a sidearm left-hand pitcher, but it's a righty. 368 against Jason Marquis. And if you want to talk about slugging percentage, right-handers have a .750 slugging percentage against Jason Marquis. That is the highest among all major league starters.
I can tell you that the split finger is the equalizer and one of the reasons why left-handers aren't hitting as high. That ball goes down and away from a lefty.
And Marquis used to have that devastating slider that was his out pitch against right-handers. He doesn't have that pitch anymore.
So Salvador, one of the best with runners in scoring position, and he's even better with a runner in scoring position and 2 out. He is a .500 hitter in what is considered the most clutch of situations. 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Hosmer has driven in a run in this inning, scored a run back in the second. Grounded, just foul. .33 pitches for Jason Marquis. And that stroke to left field. Sal comes through again. He is now better than .500 with a runner in scoring position and 2 down. Royals have 3 in the 4th inning and lead 4-0.
You can't beat the Royals when you beat yourself. And that one mistake that Phillips made, call it mental, whatever you want to call it, that just prolonged the inning.
You give a good team more than 3 outs in an inning, they're going to take advantage of it.
No question. That ball was floating on the outer half at 80, and Salvi's able to reach out. That's right in Salvi's zone. He's a great low ball hitter, especially when he's leaning out to pick up that outside pitch.
So Marquis is out after just 3 2/3 innings. That on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the Royals all season wherever you are with the MLB.TV Game of the Day, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. For more information, go to Royals.com. Sal's already been there a couple of times. Vote him back in there again this year. Royals.com/vote. Salvador Perez coming through again with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. And the Royals have a 4-0 lead over Cincinnati. And a strike to Omar Infante, who is grounded out to third. So make him a .522 hitter with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. One ball, 1 strike.
This young man Ryan Matthews, he's got a good fastball. He'll go low to mid-90s with it. Try a 2-seam sinker, slider, split finger.
On the ground to third. And Frazier across the diamond to put an end to a 3-run bottom of the 4th inning. Hosmer, Morales, and Perez driving in the runs. 4-0 Royals to the 5th. Top of the 5th inning. Monty, let's take a look at these sprint cuts of the game against Jeremy Guthrie.
Yeah, and Jeremy struggled a little bit in that first inning, but found his rhythm, found his mark, and it's been nice to see him really take control of this game on the mound for his Royals. His rotation has been looking for this consistency. He started 5 starts ago, and now here he is again tonight, continuing the streak with these starting pitchers.
So we talked about at the top of the show, it becomes like a relay race, you know. Okay, I took my lap around the track with a baton. Now it's your turn.
Yeah, what can you do? And you know, that's internal pressure, but that's good. It's competition, but it's a good competition. It's healthy for the team.
And now we're talking about 22 consecutive scoreless innings for Royals pitchers going back to Sunday.
In a sense, it's a little like peer pressure.
And now 3-0 on Zach Cozart, who is 0 for 2. Guthrie walked 2 in the first inning. None since. Reds had the bases loaded, 1 out in the first inning. Guthrie got out of that. They had 2 on in the 4th inning, and Jeremy got around that. Out into right center field. Paulo Orlando sprinting over from right and made it look easy. Coming into tonight, the Royals are still 11th in the American League with a 4.32 starters ERA, but in the last 5 games they've been chipping away at that number. Now 1.80. That's entering tonight, so it's down with Guthrie's 4 1/3 scoreless.
Volquez has been extremely consistent, but what we're getting out of Volquez and what Dayton Moore and Ned Yost are getting is a mentor, a guy who's helping Yordano Ventura.
That's right. Yordano's going to absorb everything he possibly can information-wise from his buddy.
Brandon Phillips has a 2-hit game. 1 on 1 out in the 5th inning. Well, we had a lot of fun before the game tonight. We were telling you about the Shawnee Bombers, Little League team from Shawnee, Kansas. There they are. They were out on the Little K with Rusty Kuntz, former Royals outfielder Mitch Meyer, and infielder Christian Colon working on the fundamentals. And you can learn the fundamentals of baseball from Rusty and other players and coaches. Nominate your youth baseball team today at Royals.com/covering the bases. What a thrill for those kids. And they got to stand on the field during batting practice. They got a tour of Kauffman Stadium. And now they are enjoying a Royals 4-0 lead in the 5th inning with their friends and family.
It's a big thrill. It should be, especially being coached by one of the best coaches in Major League Baseball, and Rusty Kuntz, and Christian Colon, a fine big leaguer himself. Mitch Meyer, former big leaguer.
Rusty has become a mentor to Mitch Meyer, or Mitch Meyer more of a Rusty Kuntz protege. They're grooming Mitch to become the next Rusty Kuntz, first base coach, outfield coach, base running coach.
Nothing against Mitch, but I hope Rusty stays around a few more years. He's made such a big part of that Royals running game, and there's Mitch soaking up the game.
Sitting with Dean Taylor. You know, Mitch is a good fit for that role because he was more of a football player than he was a baseball player in high school and in college. So he always was the athlete, and then he was a catcher, and then he was an infielder, and then he was an outfielder in the Royals system. So he has a great perspective of being a really good athlete and turning that into becoming a major league player and playing all over the field, learning the game from different perspectives.
I think he's got a great mindset. I think he'll be a lot like Rusty Kuntz as far as his attitude, almost that infectious, positive display of attitude, and it carries over. You need that in the coaching staff.
And he's pitched.
How about that?
He's got a better ERA than me.
He did a very nice job.
That was in Boston, right?
2 innings.
And Jason Varitek broke his bat. I mean, I destroyed his bat. Didn't Varitek sign it and send it over to Mitch? That's great. Phillips runs, and that ball's hit hard off the bat of Frazier. Alex Gordon makes a great play and then punishes the fence. Welcome to Kansas City, Todd Frazier. The trainers are running out to check on the left field fence.
Just another Gold Glove play by the Platinum Glove winner.
adding quite a highlight to his Gold Glove reel. And as tough as Alex is, well, I gotta wonder how his neck feels the way he went into that fence.
He's such a great athlete where he knows where the wall is, and then going at full speed, he somehow is able to slow it down and concentrate on making the catch and then absorbing the wall and that mesh fence.
Orlando is going to get first base, and he doesn't even realize it.
See, he knew exactly where he was. And you know, that mesh fence, even though it's rubber coated, it still gives a little bit, which is good. But look at that. I mean, that is full contact. How about landing on your head? He does it all. That's why he's the platinum glove winner. It's the best defensive fielder in the American League.
Ooh. Well, I'm sure that hurts. It's easy way up here in the booth to say Orlando was fortunate, but it was more of a glance off of his finger than truly pinching the finger in between the ball and the bat.
Like that's what happened to Alex Rios in Minnesota earlier in the season. That ball just was a direct impact to the heel of that bat, and his pinky was on that handle.
And it was so close to the handle that Orlando's, I think his first thought that is it went off the knob of the bat. And now he's running. That's one way to get back at Matthews. And it's fouled away by Alcides Escobar. Craft and Draft featuring Boulevard is the new place to be at Kauffman Stadium. Now open on the Lowe's level. This unique space offers fans an open-air, climate-controlled destination with over 75 beer varieties, gastro pub fare, and a custom pizza bar. It's open to any ticket holder. Ground ball, base hit, Alcides Escobar, and here come the Royals again. 2 on and nobody out. Third time tonight in 5 innings that the Royals have had the leadoff man on, and the first 2 times that leadoff man came around to score.
You saw catcher Tucker Barnhart walk out there and give some signs to the infielders, and that's in case of double steal. He's letting them know which base he's going to throw to. A couple guys that can steal bases, although the Royals really haven't stolen a whole lot of bases. They don't need to. They're hitting around.
Strike 2, Moustakas picked up his 49th hit in the 4th inning with a single and scored. He is 1 for 2 tonight. That's called a strike, and it's 0-2 against Ryan Matthews. One and 2. Cincinnati Reds have had a lot of problems with their bullpen. They have the highest bullpen ERA in the National League. Last year they were 26th out of 30 in bullpen ERA, which is just a reminder of how blessed the Royals are. So where they rank in the National League: highest ERA, 3rd from the bottom in saves, Third from the bottom in walks and hits per innings pitched, and in the bottom half of strikeout to walk ratio. And I tell you what, guys, with numbers like that, the Reds should feel pretty fortunate. They're just 3 games under 500.
You're right. Absolutely.
Brian Price is the manager, longtime Major League pitching coach. Seattle, Arizona, and Cincinnati before becoming manager of the Reds last year. Two and two.
If you look at the job that the Royals have done over the last, say, 5 years and bringing relief guys in and building spectacular bullpens, and it doesn't always appear to be a difficult thing to do, but it is. We see many teams come through here that would love to have just the second half of the guys in the Royals bullpen, because Dayton Moore and company have done such a great job in establishing that depth in the bullpen.
Another base hit for Mike Moustakas. That's 50 hits for Mike Moustakas. So do the math. We're 1/4 of the way through the season, and Moustakas has 50 hits. That's the kind of pace he's on.
Well, if you just watch him, he's real quiet. He wasn't jumping at those secondary pitches that Matthews was offering. Very calm, waiting for his pitch, keeping his hands inside the ball.
He was one of the players to watch, presented by DraftKings, and he has made that prediction accurate, going 2 for 3 with a run scored. Defensively, the metrics say that Moustakas is second only to Nolan Arenado of the Colorado Rockies, who is 0 for 1 with a ground out. Go to DraftKings.com and enter promo code BRoyal. Bases loaded, nobody out for Lorenzo Cain. Now we're 1 inning away from our Sonic Slam inning. And I think our last Sonic Slam was produced by Lorenzo Cain. 1 ball, 1 strike. But unfortunately, that is in the 6th inning. Lorenzo snapped an 0 for 11 with a single, and then he scored in the Royals' 3-run 4th. Infield in halfway for the Reds. Got a chance for 2, and they'll get a double play. No RBI for Lorenzo Cain, but as we get later into the game, the Royals will take the run. It's now 5-0. Paulo Orlando painfully gets on base, being hit by a Ryan Matthews pitch, and that turns into a run. So 3 times tonight the Royals have had the leadoff man on, and all 3 times that man has come around to score. Eric Hosmer has scored twice. He has driven in a run, now trying to drive in Escobar from third.
There's one team that's playing Hosmer the correct way, straight up in all the positions. Hosmer, he gets a majority of his hits right up to center field, but this is exactly the alignment you want to play Eric Hosmer in, just the traditional way, straight up. Best way to play him, because he's really good at keeping inside of that baseball, using the opposite field, and he'll pull an off-speed pitch like he did earlier for his double.
Hits it out to Kraft and Draft. There's another reason to sit out there and watch a game.
How about that? They got a ball out there.
Two and two. It's one of those balanced nights again for the Royals. They have 5 runs, 6 hits, but of the starting 9, 8 have at least either a hit, a run scored, or an RBI. And we're only in the 5th inning. Line to left field. Marlon Byrd had to adjust late and make a leaping play to end the inning. 5 innings, 5 runs for the Royals, and a 5-0 lead. Deals on new Ford cars and trucks. Visit thoroughbredford.com. And by Jack in the Box. Try the new legendary Buttery Jack from Jack in the Box today. $5-0 Royals. Jeremy Guthrie has 5 scoreless innings. Marlon Byrd will lead off, and he'll swing at the first pitch. Omar Infante will make the play, and Marlon Byrd is 0 for 3. Ryan Lefebvre with Jeff Montgomery and Rex Hudler. Okay, we saw history last night. The Royals had back-to-back shutouts for the first time since 1992. If Jeremy Guthrie pitches a scoreless inning, they will tie a Royals record for consecutive scoreless innings at 24.
I like that. Do more of it. Let it fun.
Pretty impressive.
How about them apples?
Yeah, and it's fun to watch. Plus the rhythm of the game is moving. He's throwing strikes. Denny Matthews, you gotta love that. He likes to.
You've caught on to that, huh?
Yeah, quick pitch game.
In my defense of Denny, it's not that he doesn't like long games. It's just that he likes fast games.
Yeah, look, now I was doing that, the pregame show with him, the round table. He was just elated about last night's game.
The 2-12 in a Royals win, yeah. Windows closed over there. And a cold night. '76 was the last time Royals pitchers strung together 24 consecutive scoreless innings.
We saw those numbers from the last 2 nights going back to the previous 2 shutouts in 1992. And one of those shutouts happened on George Brett's 3,000th hit game in Anaheim against the Angels.
Tim Fortino was the lefty who gave up the hit to George.
Ooh. Right field, deep, but Orlando has just enough room to bring it down. I would imagine the Reds have hit a few balls in this series that they are used to seeing sail out of Great American Ballpark.
Oh, without a doubt. That's just a bandbox. Wouldn't want to be a pitcher in that ballpark.
And you know, it's just like the Yankees. You know, they hit a few balls pretty deep to right center off of Chris Young. They were saying, well, if we were at Yankee Stadium, we'd have probably outscored you. But you weren't. You're here at the K. Friendly confines.
Guys, while we're talking about history, in 1976, John Wathan was promoted from AAA on this date in 1976. And Kurt Nelson of the Royals Hall of Fame, we were having dinner with him tonight, and he was reminding us that Duke had the perfect bookends to a Royals career. He arrived in '76. That was the first year the Royals went to the playoffs, and he played through 1985. How about that?
He's a winner.
Escobar backhands, throws, and the Royals have tied a team record with 24 consecutive scoreless innings, with Jeremy Guthrie chipping in with the last 6. Pitched 6 scoreless innings, and the Royals pitching staff has now turned in 24 consecutive scoreless innings. That ties the franchise record from June of 1976, the first year the Royals went to the postseason. And it looks like that is it for Guthrie. He's getting pats on the back with 94 pitches. And Ryan Madsen warming up in the bullpen. Meanwhile, the Reds make a pitching change, and they bring in Burke Badenhop with his 9.95 ERA.
Burke, 85/91 with a sinking fastball. He'll cut it, slider and a change.
Kendrys Morales takes a strike, 0 for 1 tonight with an RBI, his team leading 31st of the year. That's also the second most in the American League. Only Nelson Cruz with 33 has more RBIs than Kendrys Morales, who leads off our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Mark Cunningham from Lee Summit. And if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, then Mark wins $500. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Mark wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals with Morales, Gordon, and Perez coming up against Burke Badenhop. 2-2.
Watching Badenhop on the pitcher's mound with those red stirrups reminds me of the minor league days in the Reds organization. You had to show red. There was no option. You had to show those red stirrups.
And you had to wear all black shoes. I remember watching the Big Red Machine.
Right, all black shoes. And I remember Johnny Bench and Pete Rose and Joe Morgan, all-star games, they would wear these white shoes with like the stripes, whoever the maker of the shoe was, just for a little opportunity for maybe some endorsement or something.
Or at least the shoes they always wanted to wear.
Yeah.
Still 2-2. Here's Johnny Bench here at Kauffman Stadium, and still one of the longest home runs in Kauffman Stadium history. Hit it out into the old concourse beyond the old GA section in the left field corner back in 1973. Badenhop gets a strikeout of Kendrys Morales. That's only the second time tonight a Royals hitter has struck out. Alex Gordon with one out. He is 0 for 1 with an RBI. And he has made the defensive play of the game. Back in the top of the 5th inning with a man on and 2 out. Running down a drive hit by Todd Frazier and nearly ran through the left field fence.
On contact, you thought that was extra bases, maybe more. Alex got a great takeaway. I mean, he took a perfect angle, and right there's a crash landing. Unbelievable.
Just happy to see Alex coming to the plate without a imprint of the fence on his face. It looked like he did some damage out there.
Or a neck brace on, the way at least it looked like. I mean, it looked like a pretty brutal whiplash when he hit the fence. Fence isn't feeling very good either, by the way. Gets it out to Phillips. 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Third time tonight that Salvador Perez has come up with 2 outs. And in the 4th inning with a man on, he turned in our Dodge drive of the game.
He went down in a way on that pitch, right where he likes it, leaned out over the dish. Knocked in Hosmer. 522 average with runners out there in scoring position and 2 outs. He's a money hitter. It's hard to pitch around this lineup. There's too many weapons. They can get you 1 through 9.
Cozart at short, throws out Sal, and that's the inning. At the end of 6, the Royals lead 5-0. Royals baseball is brought to you by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. 5-0 Royals. As the Reds come up in the top of the 7th inning. You can enjoy one-of-a-kind experiences at Kauffman Stadium with our Royals Memories program. A variety of on-the-field opportunities are available for purchase each game exclusively through the MLB.com ballpark app. You can play catch in the outfield, take in summer fireworks on the field, and many more exciting experiences are available. Just simply download the ballpark app, pick upgrades, and select a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Ryan Madsen into the game, and Billy Hamilton jumps on his first pitch. 1 down, and Ryan Madsen is 2 outs away from establishing a Royals record for consecutive innings, which would be 25. And for Madsen, this is his 17th appearance, and hitters are batting 133 against him.
93 to 95 with that fastball, and a great changeup that he'll execute. It's really a fooler. Guthrie at 94 pitches, 61 strikes, did a magnificent job. Pitched out of a bases loaded jam in the first inning, and gained a lot of confidence through that. Had a nice fastball tonight. And with the off day tomorrow, coupled with the one on Monday, this bullpen needs some work.
This has to be a little painful for the Reds, watching Ryan Madsen pitch like this. When Ryan appeared on opening day, it was his first big league appearance since 2011. One of his injured years was with Cincinnati. Barnhart strikes out for a 3rd time tonight, 2 down. The Reds signed Ryan Madsen in 2012, and he was injured and never pitched 1 game for the Reds that year. So this is what they imagine what Ryan Madsen is doing now for the Royals.
Good fortune for Dayton Moore and the Royals, and Ned Yost with a great decision there at the end of spring training to keep him. And you just saw him execute that great changeup to Barnhart.
Base hit left field for Zach Cozart. He is 1 for 4. The Royals and Fox Sports Kansas City are offering a unique way for fans across the Midwest to enjoy a game at Kauffman Stadium. It's the Forever Royal Fan Express. Fans in designated markets will have the opportunity to win a trip to Kauffman Stadium. The next stop is Springfield on May 23rd. Go to Royals.com/Fan Express for more information. May 23rd, as in Saturday, middle game of the Cardinals series. That's a divided city, both Royals and Cardinal fans. Brandon Phillips has had a good night at the plate. He's 2 for 3, and his 1 out was a line out to center, but he, with some indecision in the 4th inning, really opened up that inning, and the Royals ended up with 3, as Phillips' indecision essentially gave the Royals 4 outs.
Yeah, he caught it and he ran about 5 steps before he threw it home, because he was a little bit confused as Moose, was he going to come home or not? And Moose ended up showing his speed.
Right center field, and that is down, and that is most likely the end of the streak. So the Royals in 2015 tie the Royals in 1976 with 24 consecutive scoreless innings. Brandon Phillips drives in Zach Cozart from first base, and it's now a 5-1 game.
They're coming up swinging early against Madsen in his fastball, and that was elevated. Belt high to an already hot hitter. Having a good night. Lorenzo Cain catches most of them, but if it's well placed, you can't catch them all.
Now Joey Votto grounds it foul outside of first base. That's just the 4th run scored against Ryan Madsen in over 19 innings this year.
Madsen will mix in a slider in with that fastball and changeup.
Infante fields and throws the first 2 in the inning. So the Reds get a run after there are 2 out and nobody on. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals lead 5-1.
League and Detroit, it's gone final, winning 5-2 against Milwaukee. Chicago on top of Cleveland 1-0. Pittsburgh and Minnesota all tied up, and the Cardinals blast the New York Mets. They'll be here on Friday. We had 2 Comerica. It was 2-2. That's big Jonathan Broxton, the former Royal, former Red, and that's a ball that's not played all that well in right field by a usually good fielding Gerardo Parra. Nick Castellanos doing the damage there as the Tigers win, so they will now be 1 game for the moment, or I should say 2 games behind the Royals, guys.
All right, Joel, thank you. This is Michael Lorenzen on to face Omar Infante, Paulo Orlando, and Alcides Escobar. Royals scored 4 runs off of Jason Marquis. 1 run against Ryan Matthews. Burke Badenhop pitched 1 inning, and now former Reds first-round pick Michael Lorenzen, first-round pick in 2013 out of Cal State Fullerton.
This young man has an opportunity to get in their rotation if needed. He's got really good stuff. 92-97 with his fastball, 4 and 2 seam sinker.
There's 96.
Slider and a change. And he was an outfielder at Cal State Fullerton. But he figured his best way once he got drafted by the Reds, as he saw most of those outfield positions taken, was to be a pitcher.
Base hit for Omar Infante. And we have spent so much time this year talking about the Royals' balanced offense. Well, now of the 9 in the starting lineup tonight, each has at least a hit, a run scored, or an RBI. Yellowwood is bringing the lumber. Early on, the Royals manufacturing a run with a double, a ground ball, and a sac fly. Then in a 3-run 4th inning, the Royals getting 3 runs on 3 singles. And we mentioned earlier the indecision by Brandon Phillips at second base really opened up the inning for the Royals. 5 runs, 7 hits for the Royals tonight, and all 7 hits make that 6 of the 7 hits are singles.
It's all right. Bunching them together and getting the right hits the right time. Couple sacrifice flies. Playing a little small ball.
Paulo Orlando was hit by a pitch leading off the 5th inning and came around to score. I was doing some reading to get familiar with the Cincinnati Reds. We don't see them very often, and never seen Michael Lorenzen. And I had read a story about him spending this past off season watching video of Yordano Ventura. And so I asked him about that. I had a chance to visit with him yesterday. Very friendly young man. And he is from Southern California. And his agent, and I'm assuming he's talking about Scott Boras, because he said his agent has a suite right behind home plate in Anaheim. And he was there for game 2 of the division series between the Royals and the Angels. And he got a chance to see Yordano Ventura pitch, and he was just mesmerized by Yordano Ventura. And he had a perfect angle right behind home plate. And what he saw was a confident young pitcher who seemed to just challenge the hitters with, hey, here's what I've got, let's see what you have. And Lorenzen said that was really good for him because he has that kind of an arm, and yet it's easy to get caught up in making perfect pitches and, you know, hitting the corners and hitting the outside part of the plate. And so he was able to get a lot of video on Yordano Ventura. That and Jacob deGrom, who was the National League Rookie of the Year. Those are the 2 guys that he really studied during this past off season.
I like that. Could learn a lot by watching video.
It's about as easy a double play as Joey Votto is going to get all year. But I just thought it was interesting, Hud, because, you know, wouldn't you assume that a guy just getting into the big leagues is going to watch somebody who's been in the big leagues for 7 or 8 years? You know,
you would think.
Really accomplished guy. But no, he wanted to see pitchers who had similar pitching arsenals as he had and were young. Why were these young guys good now?
I think that's really good of him, and it's a compliment to Ventura, especially on a big stage like that in the playoffs. And he had a great seat down there low. You could probably see that big curveball he had and the life on his fastball, and he's probably saying to himself, look, I have the same kind of stuff. I can go 97, 98. Trust it. This young man will be in the rotation here before long.
A mist begins to fall at Kauffman Stadium, and Frazier looks up into the mist and brings it down, and the Royals send 3 to the plate in the 7th inning. As we head to the 8th, Royals lead 5-1.
5-1 Royals. And they are 6 outs away on defense from a sweep over the Reds. Tomorrow is an off day, and now Farmland shows us what's cooking at the K. Lance Lynn and Chris Young on Friday night. John Lackey and Danny Duffy on Saturday night. Edison Volquez and Michael Wacha on Sunday afternoon. Should be an exciting I-70 series. It always is, but both the Royals and the Cardinals will be in first place. And our first barbecue showdown. St. Louis is proud of their barbecue, and we're really happy for them. But they're going to try and go up against Kansas City's barbecue in our barbecue showdown Friday night during Hy-Vee Royals Live. Come out early and watch HUD represent the Royals. Rick Horton, the television analyst for the Cardinals, representing St. Louis. You took him deep, and
it's an embarrassing moment for him.
J.P. Morosi, who's going to be here for the Fox game on Saturday, he's also going to be one of the judges. It'll be out in the parking lot right next to the production truck directly behind center field in the Kauffman Stadium parking lot.
Can't wait. You know it's going to be good.
Wade Davis pitching to Todd Frazier, Marlon Byrd, and Jay Bruce. HUD, you remember this guy in the Little League World Series?
I do. Pretty special moment for him.
1998, Toms River, New Jersey, winning the Little League World Series over Japan.
He was a star. And he's a star now. Living his dream. Found out later that year they went to Yankee Stadium and they took the field with the Yankees, and because Frazier played shortstop, he went out and he stood next to Derek Jeter. Well, come to find out, he was not happy about that because Paul O'Neill was his hero. And he wanted to go out to right field and stand next to Paul O'Neill.
He was probably the only kid in that part of the country who did not want to stand next to Derek Jeter.
Right. What a dream.
He was named the Little League World Series MVP. And in the championship game against Japan, here's why. He went 4 for 4 with a home run and then pitched the last 2 innings.
Wow. Great story.
And he is strong. That ball is off of his knuckles, and he muscles it into center field and has his first hit of the night.
Four-seam fastball, and on his hands, like you said, he was able to muscle it up there and keep his bat intact. That's a good bat right there.
Well, how excited are the fans about the 2015 Royals? It is Wednesday night. It is 50 degrees. The wind is blowing in out of the north. It is raining. School is still in session, and there's over 30,000 here tonight.
Oh, love it. It is outstanding. And why would they stay at home when they can come out and watch some of the best baseball in the country? Right here at the K. Appreciate you coming. Players really do. They feed off of the crowd here.
Curveball called a strike. Marlon Byrd reacting as though he thought it might have been inside.
Looks like that's a little bit of a backup curve. Didn't really break down like he normally does it. He's got a 97-mile-an-hour straight fastball, and he'll cut it. His fastball at 93 to 95. An overhand curve.
2-1 on Marlon Byrd. I will forever link you and Marlon Byrd together.
Really? Why would you dog him like that?
Do you remember why?
Having a hard time.
Hit well to center. Lorenzo Cain is back. Still back. He's got it.
We both wore the same number.
Citi Field in New York. Two years ago.
Yeah, that's going way back for me.
Joe Olivero's already figured it out. Fly ball right field. Lost in the sun. Okay, Hud, here's what happened.
Tell me what happened.
2 years ago, we were at Citi Field in New York. A Royal hit a ball to right field. Marlon Byrd lost it in the sun. The ball dropped. The official scorer called it an error.
Oh, okay.
And you dropped your headsets and you broke the number one, maybe not the number one, but one of the top rules for a broadcaster. You went into the press box and you chewed out the official scorer.
I remember. All right. And you know what? Look, I couldn't help it. Who was the hitter for the Royals that hit that? That was, you know, look, it's tough to be able to be out there to judge the height and the carry on the ball, and then you lose it in the sun and you don't drop it, you don't get a glove on it. And I just couldn't understand how an official score could give a guy an error. And I had to ask him.
But what we all remember is that you just dropped your head. I don't think the inning was over. I think we just heard over the public address, error 9, and then you dropped your headset as if you had become suddenly ill. Maybe you had. And then you were gone for like 2 innings.
Well,
we were wondering where you went. Wondering if you were okay. And then come to find out that someone had to eventually get you out of the press box because you were.
I let him have it.
Davis gets a strikeout looking of Jay Bruce, and now 2 down in the 8th inning. Oh, look at this.
Okay.
Sam Abramson on demand.
He's battling. Loses it. Doesn't even get a glove on it.
Error 9.
Yeah, and the official score had the nerve to give Marlon Byrd an error on that. And so I had to ask him how many times he'd been out there to try to catch a ball like that. And forget about Little League. And he just told me he believed he should have caught the ball. And I go, wow, boy, you're expecting the world out of Marlon Byrd. Now I remember it's coming back to me, and I'm getting a little irritated again.
There we go. Dave Holtzman's on it. We're going to try and do some exhaustive research and figure out who that Royals hitter was.
Yeah, took a knock from him.
And at the risk of turning a molehill into a mountain, I recall you coming back into the booth and then spending the next inning after that ranting about the call of the official score and how you gave him a piece of your mind and someone eventually had to tell you to leave the press box.
I believe it was Mike Swanson.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, Swanee said, hey, Hud, you're out of bounds.
You're not supposed to be doing this right now. And now I understand why. It was Alex Gordon.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm going to bat for Alex, man. I mean, I was a little bummed for Marlon Byrd, but I mean, you know, a hit's a hit. When it's in the sun and you place the ball that well, that perfect precision off of Alex's bat, he planned it the whole way. Got to get a knock out of that. 2-bagger.
That gets past Sal, and Frazier will move up to second base on a wild pitch. I wonder if Swanee remembers that.
He probably does.
I'll bet he does.
But there's been time in my 15 years of broadcasting that I went over and just talked to the official scorer, you know, just to get his reasoning behind the call. And I didn't really realize that you're not able to do that until Swanson said, you know, it's against the rules for you to come in here
and verbally assault the official scorer.
I did not. That ball comes down, he's out. No sun.
Wade Davis pitches another scoreless inning. That is 19 for him to begin the season.
Waiter, check please.
Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery on a misty night at Kauffman Stadium. And in the warm confines of our production truck, producer Joe Lavero, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, up here in the booth, Dave Holtzman, and the producer of Royals Live is Brian Shapiro. Raisel Iglesias pitches for Cincinnati in the bottom of the 8th, as Mike Moustakas is going for yet another 3-hit game.
Raisel got some good stuff. 91 to 97 with that fastball. He's deceptive. He's got a little bit of a funky arm angle. Good little slider, change up. He's tough. Moose has 16 multi-hit games this season. Last year he had 17 total in the whole year.
And he has another 3-hit game. He has 51 hits in the Royals' first 40 games. That is his 7th 3-hit game already.
And a hit to every field. First time up, he pulled it to right. Or first base hit, pulled it to right. Next one to left, and then this one right here, split the difference on a pitch that's on low and away. Stayed with it and stuck it right up the middle. Bat stayed intact. He's in a groove. We showed you earlier in the game, Moose's hands are in the lower position. They're in a great hitting area. His lower half is strong. He's able to balance it out. Hands are coming through.
1-1 on Lorenzo Cain. He is 1 for 3 tonight with a run scored. Two and one. Cozart gets the out at second base. One down. Don't forget, the next time you're looking for great seats to a Royals game, go to StubHub, where there are no surprise fees at checkout. That's right, on StubHub, the price you see is the price you pay. Every ticket, every day. Plus, with the StubHub app, you can buy and sell Royals tickets anytime, anywhere, right from your smartphone. So get the StubHub app today and go Royals.
Iglesias defected from Cuba in 2014. Different arm angles.
Which is somewhat typical of a Cuban pitcher. We were talking earlier tonight about Johnny Cueto, who is not from Cuba, and some of the pitchers that vary their arm angle and their motion. Johnny Cueto, we brought up David Cohn, Paul Bird, and then we talked about Orlando Hernandez, El Duque. He's from Cuba. Iglesias reminds me a little bit of El Duque with his pitching mechanics. Another hard hit out for Hosmer tonight. That's the second time he's lined to the outfield. Two down. This is courtesy of Fox Sports Ohio. So here's a comparison. Orlando Hernandez on the left, pre-high definition. There was a time when we thought that was a nice clear picture.
Yeah, but what a great comparison, these two Cubans. Thank you, guys.
And here's another former Cuban player, Kendrys Morales, as the ball gets away from Barnhart and allows Cain to go up to second base. The Cincinnati Reds signed Iglesias to a 7-year contract, and I'm sure money had a lot to do with it, and yet he joined a team that already had Brian Pena and Aroldis Chapman, who were Cuban defectors, and would be able to help Iglesias adjust to the major leagues and life in the American big cities.
These guys, or Iglesias, Lorenzen, who we just saw, those are guys that could be fits in their rotation at some particular point this season or in the future.
Cain takes off for third. And it's a stolen base.
Easiest bag he's got.
It might be the only time he will jog and get a stolen base this year. Morales has already driven in a run tonight, his team leading 31st. Kelvin Herrera warms up in the Royals bullpen. Last night it was Herrera in the 8th and Davis in the 9th. Davis got the save. Greg Holland out with a stiff neck. And tonight Ned Yost, even though it won't be a save situation, is going to give Herrera a chance to close out the game. He will have at least a 5-run lead as Morales drives in another run. Kane scores another run. And the Royals lead 6-1 in the 8th.
15th double. Leads the Royals in that category.
And the American League. Great stroke, staying inside the ball. Leading with his hands. Breaking ball, stayed up. Perfectly struck. It came in at 81, and I'll bet you it left about 101. Matter of fact, the hit speed off of Morales' bat, 103. I was off a couple of miles per hour. Shake myself. Ball was not walking. Great stroke.
Alex is 0 for 2 tonight, but he has an RBI. Broken bat. Tough play for Bird, and now Alex is driven in 2. And over 30,000 watching in the rain tonight. They love it.
You know, you hit so many balls right at people on the line where you square it up, and it's part of the game that's really frustrating for hitters. But every once in a while they say they even out when you get a ball like that. Doesn't really hit it very well, but ends up falling for a base hit and a stake attached. That's a ribeye stake. RBI.
Salvador Perez jumping back on a sweeping breaking ball. Going back to almost exactly a year when the Royals score 6 or more runs, they are 53-0.
Deadly. Back into that bullpen. Shuts everybody down.
We're talking about Cuban pitchers, and Salvador Perez is at the plate. Remember that frightening moment in spring training last year?
Yes.
Surprise. Salvador Perez hit Aroldis Chapman right on the forehead with a line drive. And Sal will walk with 2 down. And thankfully Chapman was able to come back. But man, that was just a sickening moment at Surprise Stadium. Chapman going down. His father was there and ran on the field. And
yeah, they canceled the game, didn't they? What was left of it?
Jeff Pico is the Reds pitching coach. Out to have a word with Iglesias. Royals with a 6-run lead. 3 outs to go on defense, and Joel and Monty will be chatting quite a bit about tonight's game. Boulevard Royals Live coming up. Hear from Royals manager Ned Yost. Reaction from the clubhouse, highlights, analysis, and setting up the first round of the I-70 series, which begins on Friday night. It'll be the first place Royals and the first place Cardinals. Omar Infante takes a strike from Iglesias. 1 for 3 tonight with a single. And he is slowly but surely warming up, adding a 266. He has hit about .330 over the past 2 weeks with a couple of game-winning RBIs. And you know, he is 5th in the league in doubles. He's hit 11 doubles. Phillips will make the play to end the inning. The Royals get 2 in the bottom of the 8th. Frustrating night for Brandon Phillips and the Cincinnati Reds. Mike Moustakas has another 3-hit game. The Royals have 10 hits and lead 7-1. First time, and now 3 outs away from a season high 12 games above 500. It took the Royals until August 14th of last season to get that high, and they're about to do it in game number 40 as Luke Hochevar is on for the 5th time. Following Guthrie, Madsen, and Davis. Guthrie's 6 scoreless innings. Madsen gave up 1 run. Davis with his 19th consecutive scoreless inning. And now Hochevar, who pitched one of the best games of his life against the Cincinnati Reds, who was certainly the most efficient game of his life here at Kauffman Stadium in June. I can't believe that that was 6 years ago. Wow.
You mean only 80 pitches
in 9 innings?
Whew, he was getting some early count outs. That is a great line.
Sliced into the corner. That's down for a base hit. Skip Schumacher batting for Billy Hamilton as a leadoff double. Now Brian Price is going to let Brennan Bosch get an at bat.
That's Schumacher's 6th pinch hit off the bench for Price this year. That's good. Bosch is 0 for 6 as a pinch hitter.
Look out. Hit the facing of the dugout suite, thankfully.
Ooh, and that guy right there with that Votto Cincinnati Red jersey, that just missed him. They better duck for cover there. That ball was coming in there.
2-1 on Bosch. I mentioned this last night, so I apologize to all of you who were watching last night's game, but I remember that game against Cincinnati vividly for Hochevar. I mean, how could you forget in today's day and age an 80-pitch complete game? But then about a month later, he had a 13 strikeout game against Texas. 2-2 on Bosch. Luke was the first overall pick in 06. He made his big league debut in 07. Struggled in 08. And struggled for most of 2009. But I remember those two starts. Luke was probably trying to discover, the Royals were trying to discover, what kind of pitcher is he? Is he a contact pitcher who could have maybe not another 80-pitch complete game, but is going to be a guy that induces contact? 3-2. He had the sinker, and he'd get a lot of ground balls when he was on. Or was he the type of pitcher that can strike out 13 against the Texas Rangers? Was he a power pitcher with, you know, a four-seam fastball and a breaking ball going for strikeouts?
And I can see where that would mess with your mind a little bit, wondering what kind of pitcher am I? And in 12, nice pitch there. Able to finish him off. Bosch, he's got to go. And in 12, when Dave Island got here, the pitching coach, he tried to simplify Luke. He tried to, you know, Hochevar was throwing cutters and sinkers, and, you know, it seemed like he was trying to invent pitches because he had such a great arm and he had good movement. Dave just said, hey, why don't you just stay with your fastball, curveball, changeup? Let's just stay with those three pitches, because those are really exceptional pitches. Don't worry about the cutter or the sinker. And he's evolved into a back-end guy for them, and an established one.
And in 2012, his ERA was 5.73. So, and he had 16 losses, and then the move to the bullpen. And he was able to whittle those 4 or 5 pitches down to his 2 best, and that got just about everybody out. 2 down in the 9th as Moustakas takes care of Cozart. A little longer game tonight. It is a school night, so and with the cold and the rain, the crowd is thinned out, but good chunk of the 30,450 is still here. The Royals are going for their 9th series win out of 13 total series this year, and their 3rd sweep. Slider in for a strike to Brandon Phillips. The Tigers have won, so the Royals will remain 2.5 games ahead in the Central. The fastball had great movement on it. No balls, 2 strikes. Two. Minnesota in 3rd place in the division has gone ahead 4-3 in the 13th inning. Sweep the Cincinnati Reds. And with 26 wins through their first 40, That is a Royals record for wins in their first 40 games, and that puts them on pace to win more than 100 this year.
Ooh, yeah. Alex Gordon, what a night. And, you know, Jeremy Guthrie, way to go. Jay Guts, way to go. 6 strong innings. Got a KCW, but Alex Gordon, man, that guy was just putting his body on the line. We've seen him do it. Platinum Glove winner, best defensive player in the American League, period, is at his best right here. Dead run into the wall at the K. Unbelievable how he's able to bounce off the wall and continue to catch that ball and hang on to it. Just remarkable. Guthrie, everyone else tipping their cap to their Gold Glove winner. 4-time in platinum.
And Joel, I don't know how Alex's neck feels, but mine hurts watching him make that catch.
Yeah, but Ryan, he's tougher than all of us. This is Alex Gordon. Ryan saying that his neck hurts after watching that. The fans, we'll talk about the catch in a minute, but you have 30,000 people here on a cold, rainy May night. How much have things changed?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. You know, to see it the last couple of years, how it's changed. You know, when we started playing better, you started coming out. I knew it was going to happen.
I thought the All-Star Gold Glove status made you exempt from that.
No, I haven't got that yet this year, so that was kind of nice. It kind of woke me up.
Might be the only guy that could stand up to Salvi as far as strength goes. All right, so the attendance here, I mean, things have really changed since the early years.
Yeah, it's great. The fans have been great this year. We're playing well, and you know, it all starts with these guys. Started last year in the postseason, and it kind of carried over, so it's been great.
All right, take us through that catch. We've become used to all of your spectacular Gold Glove plays, but I think even Wade Davis had a big smile on his face out there.
Yeah, it didn't feel good, but when your pitchers are pitching the way they are the last couple of days and Guthrie's out there competing, you want to throw your body on the line and make a play for them. So no better feeling to tip the cap to the team and get that compliment.
Now, you have said before that Luke Hochevar sometimes gives you a hard time and calls those total Gordo moves, TGMs. Explain that and why this one was not.
It was not because usually I lay on the ground and act like it really hurts, and this time I got up right away. I knew he was out in the bullpen, so he would have given me a hard time, so I made sure I got up right away.
Last thing, this is the best start in franchise history through 40 games. What makes this group so good?
Just everybody doing everything. Our lineup's really clicking. Moose, Haas, you know, I could go on. They're really swinging the bats well, and our pitching's doing what they need to do, and our bullpen is the best in baseball. So it's just a good thing we got going right now.
You are Midwest and Nebraska tough, not even shivering, but we'll say go warm up anyway. Great job.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Alex Gordon, the All-Star and Gold Glover, and he's not to be deterred by the ice-cold bucket of water on this chilly night.
Well, my neck still hurts.
I'm going to just tell you, what a fan pleaser. Great job by Alex. Salvi says, you know what, I think I'll cool you off anyway. The coordinator, he's got skills.